It's Big Board Sports with Roger Weiland on 104.5 The Team.
Roosevelt Bouie, former Syracuse Orange All-American and star player for Jim Boeheim from 1976 through 1980, joins us here on Big Board Sports in Albany, and we welcome Roosevelt to our show. Good morning, Roosevelt. Roger Weiland, how are you?
Good morning, Roger. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Appreciate a few minutes. Thought we'd bring you on just to react to what you've seen so far out of this Syracuse team, and certainly what did you think after watching the game last night when they got thumped in the home court by St. John's?
Well, you know what? The good news is that as a basketball player, we're taught to, whether good, bad, or indifferent, when you play, to once you walk off the court, you got about 15, 20 minutes to think about it, and then you're moving on to get better for the next game. So
when you look at the roster and you look at the time, they actually booed last night, which, you know, that doesn't normally happen at the Dome in front of your hometown fans, but I get how fans react. When you look at the talent level on the floor right now, Roosevelt, should this team be better, or do you think with what you see right now that this could very well be just one of those very long seasons the rest of the year?
Well, you know what? The good thing, with the talent that they have a really talented team. The thing about it, though, is they're really talented, but basketball is a team sport, and you need time to play together, and you need time to learn each other, to learn how to play with each other. You have Tyler Roberson, who is a phenomenal rebounder, and he did well rebounding last year because he had been rebounding for guys that you learn how they shoot. You know when they're going to shoot almost before they know they're going to shoot. And now he's playing with a bunch of guys on the floor that rebounders work. Any edge that you get rebounding, you get because you know your teammates. Well, if you look at it, at any given time, there's at least three guys on the floor that he really doesn't know. And he was the X factor last year where they were double-teaming the shooters. Well, they're not double-teaming the shooters anymore. They're actually keeping him off the boards. They're actually boxing him out with their best big guy. So they're keeping him off the boards because right now the offense is just not clicking like it should be.
Roosevelt, you play for Jim Boeheim. You know him pretty well. How will he handle what's going on right now?
Well, you know what? It's nothing new, and he's been saying it all along that the talent pool is very high. But the thing about basketball is it's all about repetition, repetition, repetition. You have to do his zone, the offense, the defense, to get to where we got spoiled last year by having two guys that controlled the team from the guard spot that had been there. They were fifth-year seniors, so they could run his systems with their eyes closed. Well, now the thing about getting in good position on the zones are, you can be in the right position as far as X's and O's go, but if you're, for instance, they're getting to the right position, but they're running towards the guy that has the ball. So the easiest person to beat on the floor is somebody running right at you. Instead of getting there sliding, they're getting there running, which creates a big problem because then the guy just gives them a big one-way to penetrate. And everybody's behind in the rotation. So it's a lot of intricate things, but the good thing about it is you got a coach that knows how to fix it. He will go out there, and I said even in the beginning when they were winning against the lower class, the lower division teams, I said they're winning because they're physically bigger and stronger. But realistically speaking, you've got freshmen that 10 games ago were playing in high school. You have two walk-ons that 10 games ago were playing at another whole school, another whole system they've been involved with for 4 years. It's not an easy system. You just got to roll your sleeves up and work on it. And there's an old saying I always say: the best thing about men is testosterone, and the worst thing about men is testosterone. You have to be convinced that you need something to work on for it to actually sink in, because everybody will think they can do it a different way. Well, I got news for you. They're pretty sure that they got to do it a different way now.
We're talking about Roosevelt Bouie, former Syracuse All-American. Roosevelt, I got to ask you something with more of a broad stroke here. Is there, it feels like, for the longest time, Jim Boeheim has been the bedrock of this program for decades and decades. Is there a deep uncertainty or maybe even a fear that maybe isn't being talked about as openly about this post-Boeheim era that is just around the corner?
I think not. You got to remember that, the thing about basketball, Rick Pitino once told me, he said, I was at five-star camp, and Rick Pitino was the assistant coach my first and second year. And I'm at five-star camp my junior year, and I think it was my sophomore year, and Rick goes, he takes me up there to demonstrate. I'm sitting there, and he starts out talking. Everybody in the room is writing down everything that he's saying. He stops everybody, and he says, who in here was writing down what I just said? Everybody put their hand up. Then he said, who in here wrote down my name next to whatever they just finished writing? And nobody put their hand up. He said, to be a good coach, if you spend time around great coaches, you can learn how to be a great coach.
So what would your message, Roosevelt, be? We have a large contingent of Syracuse fans and alum here, maybe to put a positive spin on this loss to St. John's last night, 93-60 at the Carrierdome. What message would you have, knowing Boeheim, knowing the way he works, knowing that you've seen the talent level on this team? What would you tell SU alum and fans listening to our show right now?
I would tell them that they might have went to practice right after the game yesterday, but I doubt it. They're going to be working hard. Everybody now is convinced that there's things that they need to work on, and he knows how to get them to do it. They'll have to decide to do it. But like I said, it's a big wake-up call when you take a beating like that at home. There's going to be people are going to be saying, you know what, we really need to work, and they're going to roll up their sleeves. That's the thing about basketball. It's you take something positive away from the game. You had your three bigs. You had two of your three bigs had a double-double. And in order to go deep in the ACC, you got to get a production out of your bigs. You're starting to get that to come around. Shooters are going to knock down shots. It's going to happen. You're not going to stop a shooter every single night. They're going to knock down shots, and you get them knocking down shots. You get them developing an inside game with the young guys. The more games they play, the better they'll play together.
Roosevelt Bouie, former Syracuse Orange All-American. We appreciate a few minutes here on Big Board Sports in Albany on ESPN Radio.
My pleasure. Thank you for calling.
Thank you, Roosevelt.
Thanks, man.